Okay, now off to apply patterns inside of this image. Now I'm going to use Photoshop to apply these patterns. So I'm just going to select the image that I have and press Control C and essentially copy this to my clipboard. Then jump over to Photoshop and go to Control V. And my paste dialog box comes up, and I'm going to paste this in as a smart object so I can modify them with Illustrator as well. And I get my bounding box. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Enter, and essentially that places it on a separate layer. Now what's nice about a smart object is if I double click on this, that it brings me back to Adobe Illustrator. Now I can apply any modifications that I want to inside of there, and that will be reflected in my Photoshop file. So it's a very excellent way to work with the two applications that I have. Now I don't want to apply a pattern to this, so I'm going to select to the layer styles and come down to pattern overlay here. And when I select pattern overlay, automatically I get a pattern selected here for my drop down. So if I click to open the pattern picker, this drop down arrow here, I can essentially select different patterns that are loaded inside of Photoshop. Give it a nice little texture here, so I double click on that. That applies it to my pattern. I'm able to scale that in, scale that out some. And I can also apply opacity, altering, and bring in some more of that color, or I can modify my blending modes that I have. So it adjusts the patterns with the colors that I have coming down from my Illustrator file. So I'm going to bring down the opacity just a little bit, select OK, and I essentially have that object filled in with a pattern utilizing Photoshop. Now you also have a number of patterns to work with. I'll double click on the pattern overlay again, my drop down. Photoshop comes installed with a couple of more patterns as well. If you want texture 2, patterns 2, nature patterns, select that and append your choices, and you have a handful of other patterns to work with inside of Photoshop that you can fill in. Double click, and again we have a new pattern that's available for us. And that's how one way you can apply patterns from an Adobe Illustrator object inside of Photoshop.